be howling, baby. Hootie hoo! It's a late one, so drink a coffee. Get the vocal cords warmed up because we about to be howling in just a second here. 646-868-320-5326 if you want to be a part of it. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but around the corner, howling with the homies, presented by Youngstedts.
Youngstedts treats their customers like family. That's because they're a locally family-owned and operated auto repair service that's been serving customers in the West Metro for 54 years. Whether you need tires, expert auto repair service, or collision repair, you can trust Youngstedts to keep you safe on the road. And they can help keep your car clean all year round with a monthly unlimited car wash membership, which pays for itself after just 2 washes. Youngstedts is your one-stop shop for complete auto repair service, tires, car wash, and auto body collision repair. Visit youngstedts.com for locations, coupons, and more.
At Dean's Home Services, we are outrageously professional.
Free cocktails at Flying Dutchman Spirits every day. Mention iHeartRadio today and get a free handcrafted cocktail with the purchase of another at Flying Dutchman Spirits. Habanero-infused 100% blue agave, Thai chili peppered flavored vodka, or the Sailor's Rancho and Rum are just a few of the 9 special locally distilled spirits from Flying Dutchman Spirits.
Hello again, this is Mike Fratelloni from Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores. If you're in the market for a new lawnmower, come on into Fratelloni's and check out the Toro 22-inch personal pace, so self-propelled, with electric start. We have a full variety of Toro mowers in stock at Fratelloni's at all times. We sell a ton of Toro mowers. We sell a ton because they're the best mower to buy, in my opinion. Mike Fratelloni, Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores. Come on in and check out the 22-inch personal pace, so that's self-propelled, with electric start right now at Fratelloni's. This is Mike Fratelloni, and we'll see you in the stores.
Hey, it's Guardsy from Bumper to Bumper for Gutter Helmet of Minnesota, the original gutter protection. Playing outside with the kids recently, I look up at the roof, reminded how glad I am that we had Gutter Helmet put on last year. We don't have to climb up there this spring to clean anything out, just like we didn't have to last fall. Gutter Helmet has kept our gutters clean for good. You can learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com and take advantage of 20% off any gutter system for April and May. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
When your business needs to stand out, you need a graphics partner you can trust. Brand Inc. delivers high-impact vehicle wraps, architectural graphics, and event signage on time and with unmatched quality. Our expert team and 3M back installation ensure precision every step of the way. At Brand Inc., customer service isn't extra, it's built in. Bring your brand to life with Brand Inc. Visit brandinc.com, that's Inc with a K, brandinc.com.
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to help put $1,000 in your hand. Listen every weekday to The Fan. The Fan.
Common here, and a big deck doesn't have to mean a big cost. BigDeck.com has 0% financing. That's right. Qualified buyers won't be paying any interest this summer as they enjoyed the benefits of a bigger, better deck. Go to BigDeck.com today and get your deck on.
It's me, Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't wanna see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at you now, no more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
Now back to the 651 Carpets Plus, home of the Next Day Install Studios on The Fan.
Anthony Edwards might need to be the lead character in the next Grand Theft Auto game after helping the Timberwolves steal one from the Golden State Warriors in San Francisco, winning 102-97, taking a 2-1 lead in the Western Conference semifinals. That's right, your Minnesota Timberwolves are just two dose wins away from another trip to the Western Conference Finals. Anthony Edwards had the infinite ammo code in the second half, scoring 28 of his 36 points, running over the Golden State Warriors like a pedestrian in Vice City or San Andreas. That game was UGLY. And the Wolves may not have an alibi, but they do come out with a win in a game that it felt several times over like it just wasn't their night. But once again, they showed they got that dog in them down the stretch. The Warriors wanted to make it muddy, and the Wolves said, consider us pig pen then, because we ain't afraid to get a little dirty, baby. Max Fuller here, and you already know this is Howlin with the Homies, presented by Youngstedts, the auto service masters. Book your service appointment today at youngstedts.com. The Warriors might need to book a service appointment because the tires fell off the wagon there at the end, or I guess you could say the Wolves took their hubcaps and put them on cinder blocks. But either way, we always riding clean over here on Howlin with the Homies. And usually one of those homies is my main man, Dr. Parker Fox, but he's out on the lake for the fishing opener. So I decided to cast a few lines myself, and I reeled in an elite Timberwolves mind. He's on the scene in San Francisco. He covers the Wolves for zonecoverage.com. I'm talking about the one, the only Tom Shrier. And Tom, just kind of take us through all those emotions from that closing quarter of the Wolves-Warriors game, and what did it feel? What was the vibe like in the Chase Arena?
Yeah, I think Jaden McDaniels said something along the lines of he likes playing on the road, right? The tough road environment. They got it. You know what I mean? They have the championship pedigree. Fans who expect the Warriors to win. It looked like the Warriors are going to come out here, right? Use defense, use bully ball from Butler. Kuminga looked great in this one. Ant was great when he had to be. McDaniels big three. You could kind of feel them rested from late. So I think it was a spectacular effort, given that's kind of how you have to win on the road, especially here against Golden State.
And they had their hair on fire for most of that game. They were playing with the exact kind of energy and passion that you would want to see if you're a Warriors fan. But the Wolves did a really good job of shutting that faucet off in that fourth quarter, Tom.
Yeah, I think it's incredible. The way I see it, like the Warriors just apply pressure at all times, right? It feels like you're kind of drinking from a fire hose, and they're trying to constantly turn that off. It's a spectacular effort, given Ant's playing with what has to be like an injured ankle. Finch is really relying on his guys, his top eight, to rest a game that felt like Golden State was playing on their terms. And you're just not going to get the energy of the crowd when you're here, right? There wasn't even really like the Denver atmosphere where as soon as, you could tell like the Nuggets were in trouble, you heard the Wolves fans. It was just dead silent. Like they just can't ride any momentum on the crowd here. So I thought it was just impressive, given the game felt like it was played on Golden State's terms really up until the end, wrested control right when you had to. And that's kind of what the next step, obviously, for a team like the Wolves, beat a championship caliber team like Golden State on the road.
And Tom, we got plenty to yap about, but this is a Howlin' with the Homies, so let's include some of the homies. We got Spencer down in L.A. Spencer, how you doing, brother? Tell me something good.
I'm doing
That's what I'm talking about. Let the people of California know.
They're still licking their wounds from losing in 5. It's awesome.
The Wolves have we got to call it Calisota soon. They're just conquering the whole damn state.
Yeah, dude, I was kind of hoping the Clippers would still be in this so I could see them back at
keep the war
back
going
here in SoCal. Thank you, Tom. When Tom brought up Nathan McDaniels, the one thing I have always lovingly called him the pterodactyl because he's 6'9", weighs 84 pounds, and has a 22-foot wingspan. I love the pterodactyl. Okay, this is so weird. I am a positive person. I'm actually going to go with 3 quick negatives.
Oh, come on. Hold on, Spencer. I need another hootie hoo to balance out the energy. We need some yin and yang up in here. We just won a game. We're up 2-1. I know we got to be critical and all that, but I need another hootie hoo if you're going to be negative.
Hootie hoo.
There we go.
And I'm going to finish. I'm going to button it with a positive. Okay, 1, sometimes, Julius, you're being left open up for threes for a reason. Feels like he's settling for threes a little bit too much. Great job with the triple-double. And sometimes it's missing. Nas was open, a couple of Rudies for some lob dunks. Wasn't really seeing him. Great job with all the points. The referees, and I never do this, seems like they're waiting to blow the whistle until they see whether or not the shot goes in. Kind of drives me nuts. But here's the thing. 6 wins down, 10 more to go. Wolves in 5.
Talk about it, Spencer. Appreciate you joining the show, brother.
Peace, brother. Bye.
That was Spencer from L.A., and he mentioned it. Julius Randle had a hell of a game. 24 points, 12 assists, 10 rebounds. And yeah, it was definitely not the most efficient game from Anthony Edwards or Julius Randle, but at the end of the day, both of them produced at a super high level. And it's something that we've talked about on this show before, that this Wolves team really operates at a high level when they're playing inside out, like when they're getting Julius Randle involved, almost like a pseudo paint point guard, and that's kind of exactly what they did today. And yeah, he missed some threes. It hasn't been dropping for the Wolves really at all throughout this whole series, but still, I thought Julius Randle, obviously outside of Anthony Edwards, had just an incredible game, and they wouldn't have even been in that situation down the stretch there without him, Tom.
He needs to play well, not only because he's the second best scorer on the team, but also this is a physical series, right? They kind of won how you have to win on the road, match their physicality, win ugly, right? I think they talk about that, like no style points in the playoffs. I think when you're not getting open shots, when you're not kind of shooting in rhythm, Randle was just forcing the issue, getting to the basket, throwing his weight around, matching whatever kind of Golden State threw at him. I think it's worth pointing out too, Finch highlighted that he can do some playmaking. Now we saw right at the end him throw the ball over Conley, right? But throughout the rest of the game, just kind of high IQ plays, right? Simple plays, trying to find maybe the pass before the pass to get a guy open on the perimeter. And I think they just needed him to step up because it can't all be Ant. And he just matched the physicality and the scoring they needed.
Yeah, and I thought just in general throughout these playoffs, Julius Randle has arguably been the Wolves' most consistent player. He's been the one that's been setting the tone from the top of these games, kind of setting the tone with that toughness, with that physicality that you talked about. And yeah, it did not look like it was going to be their night at halftime. No. Ant was 3 for 12. I think he had 1 point in the second quarter. After starting off really hot, I thought Anthony Edwards in the first quarter and in the third and fourth quarters, he did such a good job of finding those driving lanes. I loved that the Wolves, it's something that we complained about here over the last couple games, is them kind of settling for threes. It felt like Anthony Edwards made it a point to attack at the rim tonight, and that's something that he's kind of been struggling finishing at the rim throughout this series, but I think he was 6 for 8 or something like that along the lines of that at the rim tonight. And I thought he did a great job of not just settling. He could have easily just, put his head down and started jacking up threes, because he's a great three-point shooter. I mean, he's one of the best in the NBA, but he made it a point to attack that paint, attack the rim, and it felt like that just opened up all of the Wolves' offense from there.
It's an impressive effort, kind of that second effort in transition, trying to beat the defense, right? When you're tired, when I assume that ankle is 100%, even just his adjustment, I mean, that's just star power, right? To identify an issue that he wasn't scoring near the basket, knowing you have to, right? I mean, he has to see Jimmy Butler, right? Doing it on the other side, forcing the issue, contested layups. For him to make that adjustment, even just from game to game, really, really impressive. We know he's a star. I just think there is another level, which is just like in the playoffs, hit a contested three when you need it right off the pass, or not settling for a three when you could get to the basket and score, or even in transition, right? He could pass out of that, try to find someone in the wing. Instead, he kind of steps on it and finds that other gear, slows down enough to score the layup. So I think that's Anthony Edwards just is doing what they need, right? We're talking about Randle as the supplementary player. He's being the star player Anthony Edwards is that they need to win the series.
We got a texter on the text line that's saying, yo, Max, who's your underrated Wolves player tonight? And obviously we're talking about Anthony Edwards, an MVP-esque performance. Julius Randle was incredible. I thought Mike Conley actually had a really good game. Like, I mean, he hit a shot or a couple of shots early that helped the Wolves kind of find their rhythm early on. 5 assists, 4 rebounds. I mean, obviously Mike Conley is not going to He's not 27 anymore or anything like that. We're not going to get a 30-point game out of Mike Conley more than likely. But I thought he just did the little things well in this game, and it was one of his better games throughout the playoffs thus far. And then obviously Jaden McDaniels has been just an absolute star defensively, and he had a couple of clutch shots down the stretch there in that fourth quarter as well. You got a underrated player for tonight that pops out to you, Tom?
Yeah, I think you nailed it with those two guys. Conley, 28 minutes, so they're regulating it a little bit, right? But just quality minutes and kind of steadying the team. Not getting frustrated with the 5 fouls, right, and stuff like that. It's just the veteran kind of they need. The other guys I'm thinking of is Naz Reid, right? Like he's putting up big points on the bench. I think he finished with 9, but just hitting clutch threes when they need that. So, yeah, I think him and then McDaniels, just that huge 3. I mean, if you're going to go call out the crowd, right, and say, I want to play on the road, right, I want to play in these big environments, hit that big 3, play the defense you need. In a game where defense was so important, right, they kept it within a margin that they could win because they weren't giving in when it's frustrating. When Jimmy plays bully ball, it's frustrating when Kuminga has a game like that, right? And McDaniels kind of a steadying force with them, which is what they've needed.
I want to talk about Jonathan Kuminga. I want to talk about Jimmy Butler. I want to talk about all the things that the Warriors were able to do offensively right around the corner here on the break. You got time to hang out for another segment, Tom?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. But let's call up one more homie before we do. We got Dan in Chi-Town. The Windy City done blew Dan over to the homies. What's good, Dan?
My
Let's go, yo!
Julius Randle is Cat 4 inches shorter, but 40 pounds stronger. Let me tell you, my man. He's the reason we're going to win the title this year, my man.
The people of the Twin Cities and of Chicago loving Julius Randle. And just to go back to the Julius Randle thing and his whole story, this has been a redemption arc for him just over these last couple months, and particularly in this playoffs. It was a rough start to Julius Randle's time here in the Twin Cities. And I know a lot of people were calling for him to be out of town. I probably said it once or twice. I say a lot of crazy things on these airways. A lot of people were calling for him to be out of town at the trade deadline, but this team absolutely would not be where they're at without Julius Randle. And he had another just baller game tonight. Once again, 24 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds. So, I mean, I think it's fair to say at this point that that trade was a win-win for both teams, right, Tom?
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I thought it would just be a second apron trade, right? You had to do it. So you ended up like Phoenix, where you can't make draft picks, where you have trouble kind of trading players in and out. Instead, you can see why they insisted on DiVincenzo. I know tonight, obviously, Jimmy was bullying him kind of late. I think that was in the first half, and ran into some foul trouble, but he's a scorer. He's a winning player. And then Randle, he had to be this guy. You can't get through this with Ant alone. You need that second scorer, high IQ, even just kind of a bully, right? You need a bully in a series like this. And so this trade is more looking to me like they actually kind of got a square deal, right? Cat is doing big things in New York back home. I really think they needed a player like him, even though he's not as good of a scorer as Cat, a guy with that physicality, with that size, because you could end up in a series like this. I understand they're lacking Curry, but for them to play that defense, Golden State, and to have guys like Butler, Kuminga, even, Buddy Hield, right? Guys that still are a threat. You need the scoring from him. You need kind of a bully, and that's exactly what Julius Randle was.
With Barry Bonds in attendance tonight, Anthony Edwards hit a couple of them out of the park. 36 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, leading the way for your Minnesota Timberwolves to steal Game 3 on the road, 102-97. They now sit just 2 wins away from their second straight Western Conference Finals appearances. We've got plenty more Wolves to talk about. If you want to join in and howl with the homies, 800-320-5326. Call the Holla hotline, or you could text us 64686. One more segment of Howlin' with the homies presented by Youngstedts right around the corner.
Youngstedts treats their customers like family. That's because they're a locally family-owned and operated auto repair service that's been serving customers in the West Metro for 54 years. Whether you need tires, expert auto repair service, or collision repair, you can trust Youngstedts to keep you safe on the road. And they can help keep your car clean all year round with a monthly unlimited car wash membership, which pays for itself after just 2 washes. Youngstedts is your one-stop shop for complete auto repair service, tires, car wash, and auto body collision repair. Visit youngstedts.com for locations, coupons, and more.
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
It's me, Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't wanna see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at you now, no more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
Hey, it's Meat Sauce here. Imagine this scenario, okay? It's the weekend, it's nice out, and you have to get up on a ladder and clean your gutters. I don't, because I have Gutter Helmet, the best thing I've ever done. I don't worry about that. I'm never getting up on a ladder again. But if you don't have Gutter Helmet, you're going to spend a beautiful day outside with icky gloves on cleaning wet leaves out of your gutters. Don't do that. Go to gutterhelmetmn.com right now. You get 20% off any gutter system for April and May. All you got to do is go to gutterhelmetmn.com.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft chews, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, Carol.
From the makers of Miralax, new Mirafast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Mirafast today at your local retailer. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
Rick Springfield is bringing his I Want My 80s tour to Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Relive the 80s with Jesse's Girl and other Springfield classics, as well as hits from special guests John Waite, Wang Chung, and Paul Young. That's Thursday, June 19th, TICasino.com.
Nordo here for Prize Picks, the leader in daily fantasy sports. Millions of members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings because it's fun, it's exciting, and it's really easy to set your lineups on Prize Picks too. Download the Prize Picks app, use code KFAN. If you're a new user, you play your first $5 on Prize Picks with the code KFAN. Win or lose, you're going to get a $50 bonus instantly guaranteed. They got flex plays, discounted projections. They always got cool promo bits going on. But right now, you have the chance to win tickets to basketball's championship series. They call it the Takes to Tickets sweepstakes, and your Prize Picks lineups will enter you in for a chance to win you and a +1 a VIP trip to the ship. So it's super cool. Again, download the Prize Picks app, a spot, by the way, where you can win up to 2,000 times your money. Don't lose out on that opportunity. Get the Prize Picks app, use code KFAN. Win or lose, you get a $50 bonus instantly guaranteed when you play your first $5. That's code KFAN. Run your game all season long with Prize Picks.
Hello again, this is Mike Fratelloni from Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores. If you're in the market for a new lawnmower, come on into Fratelloni's and check out the Toro 22-inch personal pace, so self-propelled, with electric start. We have a full variety of Toro mowers in stock at Fratelloni's at all times. We sell a ton of Toro mowers. We sell a ton because they're the best mower to buy, in my opinion. Mike Fratelloni, Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores. Come on in and check out the 22-inch personal pace, so that's self-propelled, with electric start right now at Fratelloni's. This is Mike Fratelloni, and we'll see you in the stores.
We broadcast from the 651 Carpets Plus, home of the Next Day Install Studios. FM 100.3, KFXN, Minneapolis, St. Paul. The Fan.
It might be Mother's Day tomorrow, but Anthony Edwards was asking the Warriors, who's yo daddy, after putting belts to butts. 36 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds. Your Minnesota Timberwolves steal Game 3 from the Golden State Warriors. What? Warriors? I'm talking like it's Mario Party or something. Warriors 102-97, and the Wolves have a 2-1 lead in the Western Conference semifinals. This is Howlin with the homies, and we are howling with a hope because Wolves in 5 is still alive, baby. By the way, we're presented by Youngstedts, the auto service Service Masters. Book your service appointment today at youngstedts.com. Max Fuller alongside Tom Shrier, who was in the building for Wolves Warriors. Tom, what did you get to hear the press conferences? What was kind of the general vibe and tone of the Wolves following the game?
Yeah, so I heard Finch's. I did not hear the players, but I think, Finch is kind of matter-of-fact business. I think he realizes, like, there's game 4 coming around the corner. In a 2-2 series, whoever wins game 5 wins 80% of the time. So there's unfinished business here, right? He doesn't want to get too high. He doesn't want to get his guys thinking, hey, we got this, right? As much as they have an opportunity to come home 3-1 after blowing the first game. So I think that was more business-like. I also kind of liked, I heard Ant's answer where, Finch had said, like, I think his dunk got him going. And he actually said he got pissed when Kuminga dunked on him, right? And I think that's very Ant, where it's like humble in a way, where he's like, he doesn't want to talk about his own dunk, but also like he's kind of vengeful. So I love that answer. I think McDaniels, I think, said that after the second game in Minneapolis, that they're kind of business-like. I think you have to act that way, even though this is a huge win, even though it's monumental, and you'd understand why they'd want to celebrate it, just because it's a long series, and just because, honestly, I heard a little bit of Buddy Hield, and he's calm. He's saying, like, look, we still got this. It's not over. And I think a team coached by Steve Kerr with some championship pedigree, they're not going to get worried about losing this one as much as, you think a bit from their side. Tough loss when they played the way they wanted to. So yeah, that's the impression I got. I'm sure they're going to celebrate. They should. But I think it's more you kind of wrested control of the series now, right? Take care of business. Don't give them a chance to get Curry back, to get some momentum, to put pressure on yourself late in the series.
And I want to get to the homies. We got Cordell, we got Nick, Phil, like Dr. Phil, and Drew in the dungeon hanging out on the line. But I do want to talk, since you just mentioned the Warriors, I mean, that's about as good as a game as you can ask for from a Steph Curry-less Warriors. Jimmy Butler, although he seemed reluctant at first to kind of be we talked about it before. Like this Warriors offense is not, heliocentric. It doesn't just entirely revolve around Steph, but Steph is, let's say, the gravity of that offense. And Jimmy Butler, at first, early on in that game, the Warriors just looked complete. I mean, zero gravity. They were just dudes floating around, not knowing what to do. And then Jimmy Butler kind of became the gravity of that team. He started attacking it in the paint, and it seemed like he was getting whatever he wanted on whoever he wanted. He finished the game with 33 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. And obviously, Jonathan Kuminga has just been, he's been lighting the Wolves up in every chance he gets. I think he had 20 in a regular season game earlier in the year. He played well in game 3, obviously, and then tonight another 30 ball with 6 rebounds. What makes Jonathan Kuminga and so particularly lethal against this Wolves squad?
Yeah, I think, again, it's good coaching to unleash the athleticism. Like, he sees a moment, right? Jimmy Butler does too, right? Jimmy Butler's saying, like, hey, I've taken the Heat to finals. I can show up and play bully ball, play my way, get my points. I think if you're a young guy like Kuminga, you can't replicate Curry. And honestly, like, Kerr is not set. He said, like, listen, I can't redo the whole offense in the middle of a playoff series. We have to rely on defense. And I think that's going to allow transition buckets, right? I think good coaching will open up a guy like Kuminga. And I think the crowd reacts to him as much as, they haven't really gotten the 2 timelines maybe that they want. I think the crowd and the people here realize, like, there's still a championship window open. To get that, you have to have a guy like Kuminga play like he has. And you see the freak athleticism, why they wanted him, why they kind of saw him as a franchise player. So I don't know if he'll ever pan out to be that, but I see a guy who's really taking advantage of a situation, of being in a spot where it's still Golden State. You still have star teammates around you, still have a great coach. And like I said, you still have the fans behind you.
Phil, like Dr. Phil, what's good, homie? Tell me something good.
Hey, what's good? What, you saw the game?
That's all the good we need, brother.
Hey, that's all the good we looking for, right? So check this out. Hey, I've been checking out the Wolves, man, since the inception. Late 80s, man. You're talking Scott Roth, Todd Murphy, Sam Mitchell, all that.
Okay, you OG of OGs.
And it is just great to see what Finch is doing. He's keeping his team together during times where it can get challenging and they may have lost in the past. And probably the best shot they had, Stephon Marbury didn't want no part of it. Now he sticks around with Kevin Garnett. Who knows what the future could have held? But now these guys actually have it. They actually have it. They're gelling. And I was disappointed to hear that talk about Randle being traded. That's that old Minnesota hate stuff. It's like, let him adjust and let him get his groove. He's an NBA player. He's an NBA player for a reason. So this is not, this is not junior college basketball. This is professional basketball. Let him become who he is, and now you see what you got. You got a guy who's going to show up for you, put his hard hat on, man, and do his thing. And the team, they still got some threats out there. Golden State. Hopefully Curry doesn't come back. I don't want him to come back. But they still have some mountains to climb. But right now, I really like their confidence, and I really like their recognition when it's time to turn on that switch. Because back in the day, they didn't have it. They didn't have it, that winning time thing that the LA Lakers used to have, that winning time. But they had it tonight. So, yeah, but that's my piece, Dr. Phil. That's my prescription. So keep it up, boys. Keep on taking that medication and keep on winning.
Hey, Phil, like Dr. Phil, you said they still got mountains to climb, but guess what? Ain't no mountain high enough.
There you go.
Ain't no valley low enough to keep the Timberwolves from whooping that ass. Appreciate you, Phil. And I think Phil's got a good point there that they're learning how to win in different ways in the clutch. Like it's not just we had the 3 drop, and like we talked about earlier, they decided to start making a point to start attacking the paint a little bit more. It's not just entirely, although Anthony Edwards obviously was the driving force. We mentioned it. Rudy had some clutch free throws. Jaden McDaniels had clutch shots. Julius Randle had clutch shots. They all are learning to live up to that moment and not kind of falter or kind of at times we saw in the regular season them devolve into iso ball, devolve into the worst versions of themselves. And now it seems like this Timberwolves team has a different kind of emotional maturity that even when, 3/4 of that game is not going your way, you don't have a whole lot of momentum outside of a couple of tiny stretches here and there early on in the game. And then you still find the fortitude and the wherewithal to steal that game back from the Golden State Warriors when they're getting everything that they could have wanted from Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga. I just think that shows not just obviously execution by the players and high IQ, but just Chris Finch having these guys ready for these moments in the playoffs.
I think worth pointing out, because we got a little bit of Wolves history here, Chris Finch has passed Flip Saunders for the most playoff wins in Timberwolves history with 18. And then Julius Randle is the only other player other than KG. He did it 3 times to get a triple-double in the playoffs, right? So that is, I love the Timberwolves history. The fact that we heard some names I have not heard since maybe I was a kid. You know what I mean?
No,
but we're hearkening back to obviously those teams. By the way, this team has done something that the Flip teams didn't. That's advancing in the playoffs, right? Past the first round in consecutive years. So it feels like these guys are kind of ready for big moments. Who would have thought? I believe there was a lane violation on a Rudy Gobert made free throw, right? And it's like we're at that point where like Rudy Gobert is looking and going, I did my job. You know what I mean? I'm at the free throw line and someone stepped over it. But I think McDaniels had a hero moment, right? Edwards in some ways had that. I even heard some people on the Golden State side going, man, Edwards is going to go Jordan on us. And I was like, over Elo. And I was like, man, are we there? You know what I mean? And so, we saw a little bit of that and then Randall giving what they need. So I think that's a team coming together. That's Finch adjusting, right? You could have seen like even kind of how the first quarter ended, right? I think they were up 9 and it ends up even. The second half, it looked like who's going to guard Jimmy Butler, just on a night where they had the right guys going. You have to have that team effort. And it just felt like kind of Timberwolves collectively won as opposed to like Ant playing hero ball or just like, Jaden McDaniels going off or something like that. Yeah.
And that's just the important part about almost all of these wins that they've had in the playoffs is their team wins. They're very replicable team wins. They're not dependent on crazy. Anthony Edwards has had a great game, but it's a game that he can have almost any night. It's not like he needed to drop 70 for the Wolves to win. They're doing a really good job of having replicable wins, winning team basketball, not just overly relying on superstar performances. And I'm guessing Nick from Minneapolis, he's a team player, but he sounds like he's a superstar as well. Tell me something good, Nick. Give me a hootie hoo. Nick, hello. Hey, Max. Hey, it's Nick from Minneapolis. Hootie hoo. And by the way, you're extremely handsome tonight. Well, thank you, Nick. I really appreciate that. It has nothing to do with Timberwolves basketball, but I really appreciate that, Nick. Cordell from Apple Valley, are you on the line, my brother?
Max.
What's good, dog?
Hootie hoo.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Cordell.
That's right. Max, I don't want to disappoint you. I'm a white guy named Cordell.
I actually, I'm not going to lie. Like, I 100%, I would have lost the house, the car, the kids, everything. I would have bet all my money. That's like a white Tyrone. I mean, that's a white guy named Cordell. That's unprecedented.
Well, damn right.
We'll celebrate you in February either way.
All right. Very good. So we're up 2-1, right?
Yes, sir.
They should be worried. They are now the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, I like that.
If you want to take that.
Sure. I'll write it down. Sure.
Also, thank you. Write it down. Golden State Warriors. Also, Julius Randle. Black Vince Vaughn? Question mark.
Wait. Excuse me. Do you want to elaborate on that, Cordell? What could you possibly mean by that?
He looks exactly like Vince Vaughn.
What? Why have I never heard anyone say this before? Hold on. This is not a thing.
God, look.
Hold on. I got to pause the whole show because what's going on? Oh, my God, dude. They do kind of look similar.
Yeah.
Well,
that's all I got. And he kicked ass tonight. So.
I appreciate it, Cordell. Cordell came in just to drop that knowledge on us, that little gem, that Julius Randle, Vince Vaughn, maybe some shared ancestry down the line there at some point. We got Drew from the dungeon. Julius Randle just got the whole Twin Cities ready to howl. Everybody wants to talk about big Julius Randle. Drew from the dungeon. What's good, brother? You want to talk about my guy Randle too?
Hootie hoo.
Yes, sir. What's
good,
Drew?
He's throwing me off with this Vince Vaughn. That's killing me. That's
Dude,
crazy.
That's mind blowing. We need to investigate this.
That was out of left field. Wow. But hey, Julius Randle gets his flowers, gets that triple double first since KG, only since KG. Wow, that's lovely. Just execution down the stretch. Finch put him in the spots we need to be in. Like Dr. Phil said, Finch has got him calm, playing well. We're not panicking. We're, and then Ant flipped that switch. Talked about that before when I was talking with you, Maxo. Ant flipped that switch, and then we're just going. So Jaden McDaniels shut Kuminga down. We got to figure out a way to shut Kuminga down next game, and we're good. Let's go.
Like Drew said, Tom, I think the Wolves, there are some, defensive adjustments to be made. Drew from the dungeon doing all the film studying down there in his dungeon. And but that's kind of something you just have to live with, right? Like this Warriors team, you got to expect that Jimmy Butler is going to be trying to do the same thing next game. And that's just the Jonathan Kuminga thing. That's just something you got to live with, right? That's not something you have to specifically game plan, right?
Yeah, I think it's just you don't have a great guy to guard Butler, right? You saw when he's out on the perimeter, Nas Reed, he beats him with speed. He's bullying Dante DiVincenzo with his size. Even Gobert, I thought maybe if he was kind of planted in the middle there, right, and avoided foul trouble, he could kind of prevent scoring near there. And Butler goes right in his chest and scores, right? And so, even Edwards I thought would be really good. I thought, you can't play him on Butler the whole game. You're going to tire him out. But Butler did something. I'd have to see it again, right? But that spin move where he beat him, let him flat-footed.
Nasty.
And so there is something about Butler that when he's kind of playoff Jimmy, when he can put the pedal down, even at 35, I think he's a really smart player. I think he's really physical. I just has the touch, right? I don't think he can guard him, and I think in some ways Kuminga's probably benefiting, right, as kind of the second scorer there. I think you can live with a game like this, right? I think it's a matter of Finch talked about the Wolves ultimately need to get free. They need to make pass and score. They need to they need to make things a little bit easier for themselves on the offensive end. It's going to be hard because they're going to sell out defensively, right? And we're going to see that throughout this season. But I think it's more what was happening in this game. It felt early was that every possession mattered, right? If you miss the shot, Golden State scores in transition, right? If you don't hit a 3, Butler matches it with a 2 on the other end. And I think you saw, if you're the Wolves, the number one thing, eliminate turnovers, right? Be more careful with the ball, more judicious.
Just about to ask about that.
And just be ready for a series like this where you get that kind of defensive intensity in this environment, and knowing that like you have 2 players who could easily score 30 every night. I think it's, make sure you shut everyone else's tap off. Don't have another scoring threat. And I think it's a matter of just championship teams do this in my mind, right? They gut this out when it seems like it should be easy. No Curry, right?
Right.
Golden State's going to throw this at you, and can you weather it? It's not unlike in my mind where, it was ridiculous to play all 5 the second half, but it's kind of like the Lakers. Lakers gave you that shot, right? You weathered it. This feels a little like this, right? You have to do things like that in the playoffs. So I think the Wolves have to go into it thinking like, hey, we have enough star power on this team. It's a team effort. We can win this series. I think that's firmly in their head. Probably would have liked to have that first one, but it's a series they can win, and it's in part because they're winning games like this.
And it's in part because their defense has just been incredible. The Golden State has not. It sounds blasphemous to say about the team that revolutionized the way that the three-pointer is used and is part of the reason why we see the 3-heavy offense that we do all around the NBA. But this team, when Steph is not on the floor, man, they do not have a lot of good three-point shooters that you have to respect. And the three-pointer I noticed on both sides of the ball for the Wolves and the Warriors, since neither team has been shooting particularly well, that three-pointer it changes the complexity of the game so quick. Like when it started dropping for the Wolves in that second quarter when they went on that 11-0 run, it felt like if it would have kept going, they could have just took off for a 20-point. Whichever team has the three-pointers dropping, it feels like that's kind of the deciding factor because the Warriors started to get a little bit popping after halftime. But both of these 2 teams are not shooting particularly well from 3, and it feels like that kind of is, if the Wolves could just get it going at their usual clip, it seems like this should be a way easier series than it has been.
Yeah, you have to worry about Buddy Hield on their side, right?
Yeah,
the three-point threat and just kind of being that extra scorer. On the Wolves side, yeah. I think it is harder when you feel like if you miss it, right, they're just going to score in transition. Right. But that is how you get away from that kind of Jimmy Butler bully ball. You can't trade 3s and 2s, right, especially the way he's playing. So I think that, that would open things up. And I think they identified that in the first game. They shot so poorly, right, coming off the bad shooting game 5 against the Lakers. And I think, Finch really emphasized rhythm. Like you saw it, even though Ant was scoring 3s, it often was off a second pass where he was open at the top, right, and stuff like that. And I think, finding McDaniels in the corner, kind of opening things up and making it easier to shoot the 3-ball probably is the best way to do that. So that is the only way I see them kind of blowing this open. That's the way you kind of just crack the code on them. You get the 3-point shooting going. You create enough of a margin. I just don't know how they come back. I'm shocked they came back. I think the Warriors came back from 9 and 10-point deficits in this game, right? If you can open that up when you have that deficit and start raining 3s on them, that's kind of how you break the spirit. It never felt like you broke the Golden State spirit. It felt like you stole a game from them. You mentioned Grand Theft Auto or whatever. It literally felt like something that was like illegal and it's going to show up in GTA 6.
5 stars, you got your on the wanted poster. The helicopter's looking for you.
Yes, and there is a way to obviously just kind of blow the doors off them. So, it'd be so huge coming back 3-1. Don't give them the opportunity to bring Curry back and have momentum and have them come back and steal the series from you.
Well, and that is the key here is that the Warriors are not going into the next game feeling with their chest out, because at that point the mission's already accomplished. You got the one, you're hanging on, and you have your hope for Steph Curry to come back. But now you're back. If you're the Golden State Warriors, your back is against the wall, and you gotta give it everything you got. But you already did that tonight. This one felt similar to like that Lakers series when the Wolves made that comeback. This, even though it's just 2-1, this feels like a Bane on Batman style backbreaker, like a soul snatcher a little bit. Well, and we'll see. This is a well-coached team. This is the Golden State Warriors. They've had, an infinite amount of success over the last decade or so. But we'll see what kind of team they are how they come out and respond in Game 4 on Monday, right? Because this feels like one of those things where it's like the Wolves could be similar to the last game where the Wolves are up by 20 in the first quarter, because this feels like a backbreaker for the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, I think the message is going to be play like this again. If you're Golden State, you can go back 2-2 and put pressure back on the Timberwolves, right? I think the Timberwolves message is like, this is sustainable. This wasn't just an ant game. This wasn't a Nas or McDaniels going off as a secondary scorer. It was really a team effort. And even Randle, who had, you know what I mean, like a game no one's had since KG has had in the playoffs. It's because he was assisting, right? It's because he was grabbing boards. It's because he was making winning plays. So I think you talked about the sustainability. Like for the Wolves, you don't probably want to play every playoff game like this, but you can win playoff games like this, even with great defense, even with great scoring, even kind of with Kerr, I think coaching at a high level, just because you have the firepower, kind of the ammunition to take out a team like this.
Tom, it's getting late. I'll let you catch some Z's and dream of Wolves wins on Monday night. And I'm guessing that's what you're predicting for Game 4 as well, is a big-time Wolves win, right?
I am. As much as I said, like the Golden State will try to do something like this again in Game 4, I think we've seen the Wolves can win like this. It means you can win this series, including the game on Monday.
Tom, can you just do me one favor? You've already done me a huge favor joining me, dropping gems all night. Just unleash a hootie hoo that will offend people in California. That is so loud.
I'm going to scare so many people around. Hootie hoo!
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
So many people.
Oh yeah, I can already hear the choppers coming, the police sirens. Get to safety, find a safe haven. We appreciate you for joining us. Where can the people find you and follow your work?
Yeah, zonecoverage.com will have a ton of coverage on this game and this series in general. I'm at TSchrier3 on Twitter.
We appreciate you, Tom. Get some rest, brother.
Thank you.
That is Tom Shrier of zonecoverage.com joining us all the way from Cali after your Minnesota Timberwolves steal a win from the Golden State Warriors 102-97, and they're just 2 wins away from a return trip to the Western Conference Finals and a date with either Denver or Oklahoma City. But first, the Wolves have to take care of business against the Golden State Warriors, and we'll see them back in action on a Monday night. Tip-off around 9 p.m. It's a late one, but you'll hear from me and Parker Fox prior to the game. That's the next time I'll holler at you, but you already know that the fan, it's got the Wolves covered like a blanket wrapped inside a Snuggie on top of a quilt. We're the home of the Timberwolves. We got the elitist of elite Timberwolves minds. So we'll be covering everything to do with Game 3 and leading you all the way up to Game 4 on Monday night, which you can hear right here on these very airwaves. In the meantime, get some rest, you sicko. It's almost midnight, and you're sitting here listening to us talk about Timberwolves basketball. We love you. We appreciate you. Get some rest so you can show some love to your mom tomorrow. Shout out to all the mothers out there. We appreciate y'all. And I'll holla at y'all on Monday. Once again, I am Max Fuller. This has been Howlin' with the Homies, presented by Youngstedts, the auto service masters. Book your appointment today at youngstedts.com, and I'll holla at you on Monday. Peace.
651 Carpets Plus. We bring the showroom to you. Come on in. Here's how your free in-home estimate works. We bring you all the latest and greatest styles to complement your home. We use our state-of-the-art measuring system so we can give you the best price for your project on the spot. And we have thousands of products that you could have installed the next day. Call 651 Carpets Plus for your free in-home estimate.